Operations for IDEA Public Schools. Thank you so much for joining us here today. We're excited to have you. We want to go ahead and start off by talking about a big year for you guys at IDEA. The Mesa Hills College Preparatory welcomes its first 12th grade cohort. That's exciting. Can you tell us a little bit more about what that feeling is like?
Absolutely. So IDEA Mesa Hills opened its doors in 2019. And this cohort of seniors, they started there as sixth graders. So it's very exciting for the campus. It is an inaugural year for them with the senior class. They did senior breakfast on the first day of school. They're getting ready to do senior sunrise. And of course, the kids are super excited because they're going to do the senior walk with the kinder walk, so that the kinder students get to see like, oh, this is what's waiting for me when I finish school here.
Yeah, we thought that was so cool. We were actually talking about that when we were there. We showed video, obviously, of like the senior breakfast, and you're like, they look so happy, and the breakfast looked so good.
Yes,
so,
and it looked
yes,
so exciting. Like just the energy of going in there and being the first class. I'm sure
it's amazing.
Yeah.
You know, there's some different things that districts are having to implement this year, different legislative priorities, new laws that were put into effect. We've been talking to districts, you know, just across the borderland about the cell phone ban and how the approach that they're taking to address that situation. Can you talk to us a little bit about where IDEA stands?
Of course. So at IDEA, cell phone policies were already in place as part of the student code of conduct. So there's already been some systems in place to help kids mitigate what it feels like to have your phone put away in a backpack or in your pocket, or those kinds of things. With the legislation, it just really stamps it as law, and so we'll have to go back in there and kind of recalibrate some of those pieces to make sure that we are fully in compliant with the law. But it's very similar to what other school districts are doing across the state of Texas. IDEA Public Schools is a public charter, and that's why we do have to comply with all of the legislation that's coming out through the state of Texas.
That legislation, I think, was really a big topic, especially as a lot of school districts were kind of grappling with their enrollment and funding from the state. But now with HB2 and that new funding coming in, can you tell us what type of an impact does it make for IDEA, and how big of a difference does it make?
Of course, HB2 is the incentive, the funding for teachers, and so it's really exciting when we get to see a teacher get a pay increase. Like, we want that. They are working so hard to help us at IDEA make sure that our kids are ready for that to and through college experience. But coupled with that, even before the legislation, IDEA participated in what was called the Teacher Incentive Allotment, which allows teachers to earn extra incentive based on student performances. And within our organization, we have something called Teacher Career Pathways that has been in place for many, many years. And so teachers, based on their performance, on their level, on their tenure, are eligible for additional bonus compensation throughout their career with IDEA.
That's a really good incentive, and like really we talk about how it's so important to have consistency with kids' education. How much of a difference does it make to be able to attract teachers and retain them too?
Yeah, I think something that's really special at IDEA is that when we first launched, even in our newer schools, they're a small number of grade levels. So it's like K2 and 6th grade. But if you really want to be an 8th grade teacher, you just stick around. And so you can loop with your students and then get to the grade level or the content that you want to teach. The other advantage to that is that you get to know the kids, but you also get to know their families and their friends. And so it really becomes an experience that's very different for the student. So even in the moments where they're struggling, you've got extra support because a teacher really knows everything about you. But even when they're excelling, you get to celebrate as part of their family because you've known them for such a long time.
Absolutely. You know, we were just talking a little bit too about enrollment. You guys said that you have about 6,000 students right now. Talk to us a little bit about that and the growth of IDEA altogether.
Of course, in El Paso, when we first started, we only had 2 campuses, IDEA Rio Vista in the Lower Valley and IDEA Edgemere in the Far East. Right now, we are up to 5 sites, 10 schools, including IDEA Mesa Hills on the west side, IDEA Mesquite Hills in the northeast, and IDEA Horizon Vista in Horizon. So that has been really exciting because we are able to offer IDEA services, classes, etc. to more kids across the greater El Paso region. In addition to that, we know that school choice is so important. So families get to come, take a tour, meet some teachers, meet the principals, and even meet some of the other students before deciding if they want to be an IDEA student. Some of the really neat things that happen is kids taking a tour and they're like, oh, I know you, we went to school together. And so then it makes that transition to IDEA a little easier and more comfortable for them.
Yeah, and is there anything else that you'd like overall like to add about maybe things that are happening at IDEA that many of us maybe probably don't know about, or just anything exciting?
Of course. So at IDEA, number one, we are a public charter, so we are tuition free. That means all you have to do is apply, get accepted, and register, and you are a student at IDEA. In addition to that, we provide 3 free meals a day to every single student, which is really cool. And like you mentioned, the food is very tasty. I'm a little partial, but I really love our menu. And then in addition to that, we are part of the Texas Charter School League. So our students get to participate in competitive sports, including flag football, basketball, volleyball, and we have some state champs in flag football, volleyball, basketball, and then our cheerleading squad has earned some local recognition, and they've also participated in some local events.
That's awesome. Well, we want to thank you so much for being here with us today, and we hope you have a wonderful school year.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. We're going to post this community conversation on our website if you'd like to watch it in its entirety and learn more about what IDEA has to offer. On our website, just go to kfoxtv.com.